Hey everyone, it's Becky Browning with Wallflower Greetings and welcome to another card tutorial. Today we're going to be using the Timeless Tulips bundle featuring this beautiful stamp set and this beautiful tulip builder punch. However, with this project, I'm not going to use the punch this time. I'm simply going to do a card with just stamping. It's going to be very classy and I think you're going to love it. But remember that when you buy the bundle from me, you save 10% and you also get a free class packet which has everything you need to make 8 to 10 beautiful projects, including everything you need to make the project we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we are going to do just stamping. We're going to use our Memento black ink, which comes in your kit. And I've got stamps mounted on acrylic blocks. These do not come with your kit, so if you need blocks, you need to order those separately and add those to your order, and you'll have them forever, so you can use them over and over again with lots of different stamps. Now, for most things, the D block is a great purchase because a lot of our stamps fit on this D block. This larger one, and I don't know what it is right now, but I'll get the information for you, has this long stem on it. So you do need a larger block for things like stems and larger, larger stamps. And I'm so sorry, y'all, my camera keeps kind of slipping. So hopefully I don't knock it again. Okay, so what you're also going to need then is your card base. My card base is the standard card base that's already folded and scored. It's Whisper White thick cardstock, and I've already put a basic gray card front on it. This is the same size as the card base. So the next thing you're going to need some Whisper White scrap paper, and you're going to need a piece of regular Whisper White. So this is going to layer on top just like that. But we're going to stamp on it first. And so what I want to do is I'm going to take my stem and I'm going to ink it first and stamp it. So this is going to give you a really nice kind of black and gray, or black and gray look. I think this is very classy and very pretty. So you can kind of do this however you'd like to. I'm going to start over here on this kind of the left hand side a little bit, and I'm going to stamp my stem here. Okay, and then I'm going to ink it up again. And these cards will always look a little bit different, and that's okay. You can put as many flowers and stems on here as you want. You can do as many leaves as you want. It's kind of up to you. I'm going to do another one coming off this direction and meeting towards the bottom, and it's a little lower, so the stem's a little lower. Now, if you're visually impaired, I have an alternate method for you for doing this stamping, so don't worry, you can definitely do the projects because I have you in mind since I'm also visually impaired. However, I do have a little bit of vision, and so I can pretty much line these up fairly well. What I like about them is they're see-through, so it's really easy to definitely line them up where you want them. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our large tulip, okay, and line it up, and we're going to stamp 2 of them right at the top of each stem. So I can see if I can do this without getting too much in the way. Okay. And you see that one didn't stamp quite as dark. It doesn't matter. I think it looks pretty just the way it is, but you could fill in with a marker, a fine tip marker, if you wanted to add a little bit more detail to it. That one's a little darker. All right, awesome. Okay, now we're going to take and put on our leaves. So let me find my leaf. There's several different leaves in this stamp set. I'm just going to use this one. And I'm going to do, several in different places. So I'll do one here kind of coming off to the left. Okay. Do another one a little farther down coming off to the right on this first stem. And maybe another one down here, the bottom, right? I'm going to turn this around and get kind of a different look by turning the leaf around to the other side, you know, like turning it upside down, just to get a different look. And maybe another one down here. Like I said, you can do as many leaves as you want. It is definitely your creation. You can even have them overlap a little bit, so that's okay too. In fact, I think I'm going to try that and see what I like. Yeah, that's really pretty. All right, awesome. So there is that. So that's pretty much done, except that we need to add our sentiments. So that's what you need the scratch paper for. You can take a paper trimmer and just trim you off a piece. I'll show you my alternate card here in a minute. I just took and did about 1 inch wide, or maybe 1.5 inches piece. And you want it to be fairly long. This one, I don't know what it measures, but you want it fairly long so that if you mess up, you can, you know, kind of play with it a little bit. Also, too, you can cut it off to fit your card. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and stamp this Get Well Soon. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and cut this. So again, you could use a trimmer. If you don't have a paper trimmer, you could just do it by hand. I'm terrible with doing it by hand, but we're going to just try it just for the sake of time. I'm just going to cut off a piece here. And actually what I may do is, you know, make it kind of crooked on purpose on both sides. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, you can tell, not very straight. So maybe I'll just make it kind of wavy on purpose. That way, you know, yeah, let's just make it wavy. How about that? Yeah, I'm just going to do that on both sides. See, where there's a will, there's a way. You can always make it work. I'm just not good at cutting, so, okay. So there it is, and we can fix it and chop it however we want to. All right, move that out of the way. So we're going to do our stamping, and I'm going to stamp this Get Well Soon. Over kind of towards the, sort of towards the middle, but maybe a little bit over to my left a little bit here, because I want to leave a little space over here, and I'll show you why here in a second. So I've got my Get Well Soon, and see, that looks pretty good to me. And then I'm going to do, now I have, put it back in the box so that I would have it. I have the small tulip bud here, and I want to stamp it kind of right here. Now it won't, the whole thing won't fit on it, so I just want the top of the bud kind of coming up, kind of like that. Let's see. So I'm going to mount it on this block with my Get Well Soon, wherever I put that. Oh, it's over here. And I'm going to put it on the opposite side of the Get Well Soon, the opposite side of the block. And I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to put it kind of near that Get Well Soon. And you know what? I think it might all fit on there if I tilt it quite a bit. Let me tilt it, see if I can get most of it on there. Yeah, it's pretty. So you can see that bud there. If you make it a little wider, you could get the whole thing on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my card. I want to trim it, so but I want to do this where I have a stem, kind of. So I'm going to put it kind of right there so that it's coming off this, looks like it's on this stem right here. Does that make sense? So that's where I want it. And so that way I can cut this off a little bit. So I'm just gonna do a rounded edge. Let's see if I can do that. A little rounded end there. Okay, that's cool. And I'll do the same on this other side. Okay, that looks pretty cool. All right, awesome, I like it. And so we're gonna take some dimensionals. Okay, find my dimensionals. Where did you go? There they are, covered up as usual. I'm gonna do maybe 4 across here. Sorry, I'm probably not in the camera, but I'm just gonna put 4 across. Okay. And before we put this on, I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card base, my stamped panel. So I did that with dimensionals as well. So I'm going to put quite a few on here because I don't want it sagging in the middle. And in fact, I can even use with this, this is almost empty, this little panel of dimensionals. So I can even use the edges, which is really good for this. Two stuck together. But I definitely want to use quite a few on this. So I'm putting about 8 down the middle and or so. And then I'm going to take the edges off and kind of get those on here. So yeah, never waste, don't throw these edges away. You can even chop them up for smaller projects and use them on the back of things. So definitely use everything on your dimensionals, every piece. Okay. Okay, whether that won't stick out. Okay, cool. Here we go. This should be pretty good. This looks pretty good. So I've got quite a bit on there. All right, so let's go to pulling this backing off. I don't know if y'all can hear the little birdies outside. They're really getting with it. And I love birds, but I don't see them. I just hear them. And I am not good about identifying bird songs. I don't know if anyone is, but it's kind of some of the more common birds that we have around here. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Okay. One more piece, and I think we got it. All right. Well, takes a while to get all the backing off these when you have that much. Okay, so I'm going to just layer this right on top of this panel where the gray is peeking out from behind. This panel's about 1/4 of an inch smaller all the way around. And I'm going to try to get it kind of centered. There we go. That looks pretty good. All right. How about that? That looks pretty. Very classy. Very, very classy. I love it. And then here's this final piece, which has our little bud on it. So take those off and layer that right on top as well. And then we are done. And then I'm going to show you a variation of this card where you can add some color. Now this will be an optional if you want to do this next card. You'll need to purchase some Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that here in a second. But isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, that turned out really nice, I think. So let me know what you think of that. Be sure when you make your cards to sign the back so people know that you made it by hand. All right, so let me show you the variation. So without further ado, drum roll. Oh, here it is. So all I did is I took some Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends, the 2 colors. We have a dark and a light, and I just colored it in and blended it. And I love these because they do blend well. I used this particular ink, this Memento ink, on purpose because if you use any of the other ink, which is the StazOn, it's alcohol-based, StazOn is, and these are alcohol-based markers, so it will bleed. So you use Memento ink and you won't have that issue. So I just colored in with the markers, and I think it turned out great. Oh, I also used for the leaves, the one of the